If the willingness that is authentic, then the spell of self-hate should have been lifted by now. But here we are, 2021, still doing things that are detrimental to the state of black existence, all for the sake of keeping it a buck. You know, Mr. Charlie, they can fight like lions versus leopards and still find a way to come together at the end of the day and play golf on the green. Men meet under this white umbrella and they swing iron between their legs like it's their love muscle. And the only objective is knock a little white ball at the face of the earth. And this is symbolic. It probably started as a smear campaign, then it turned into a game, but now it's a sport. Thinking back, the only truth that I was ever taught in school was math. Everything else was white people's side of the story. That's why history is classified as his story. All the flavor that we gave this country to help make it great is always erased, and it makes it like we fell from the sky and we landed into slavery. And then we jumped up and marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge for the right to sit in the same toilet seat as white people. That's because racism is a religion in America. Religion is a Ponzi scheme. And one good way to tell you going through a bad neighborhood is when you see a lot of churches. There's usually 2 or 3 in one block. The block is always lopsided. And this is precarious in its foundation. Because you give money to the church, but it don't circulate. The pastor got a smile that's fake. And everybody in the community is crying broke, but the church is the only institution that's stacking cake. But there are levels to this shit. Think about it. When immigrants go to another country, they do it for a better way of life, right? But if that's the case, then you can't say the same thing about my forefathers. A better way of life was built up their back. In fact, they came to this country the way convicts go to court. Their hands and feet were fettered to the ground down in the bows of a slave ship like cheap fish, saltwater seasick and suffocating from the stench if they're on excrement. Now wait a minute. Immigrants don't travel like this. They was being treated like hostages and getting smoked like sausages in a tight ship shipped across the earth for 2 purposes. That would supply comfort and wealth for European nations. But even inside of a race, there's a race. Because the white people that come in last are described as trash and used as buffers to keep black people in their place. When at any given day, all they got to do is shave and bathe and put on a suit and tie, and they fit right back into the upper crust of society. And we spend so much time looking up to them because we spend so much time looking down on each other. But then again, there are levels to this shit. That's it. I can keep going if you want me to keep going.